drew out that Nocturne ban unintentionally, it seems.
But they didn't pick up the Draven and the Vayne. So last time, Vayne was banned both games by the KT Arrows. Arrow not really picking that one up. Twitch taken out this time, the champion that really caused them a lot of anguish in the laning phase, and also setting up picks last time. There's Coma. Of course, coaches allowed in the booth for picks and bans here in Masters.
Yep, and we do have head coach Lee, and then there's also the main coach for Arrows on your screen right now. Lulu being banned out against Rookie, so I guess Faker does not want to first pick that.
A bit surprising. You also found out something interesting about Rookie's Lulu.
Rookie's Lulu, oh yes. In fact, they were intentionally hoping that K would not ban Lulu in that last set against K, the Arrows, of course, in their Champions match. And Someday was explaining that they had purposely not used Lulu against S so as to make people think that Rookie couldn't play Lulu or that he didn't want to. And therefore, while the Nocturne ban was surprising, Someday was explaining he was actually relieved because he was hoping that Lulu wouldn't be banned, and that's what they picked up to help them win that last set.
Of course, and if SKTK was not prepared for that, Faker, actually his most played champion in solo queue this season is Lulu, so definitely a go-to pick for him. Lee Sin taken first by K. Arrow's going to grab Jax early after banning Renekton.
Ooh.
So a bold play for Someday, and they're trying to get that big carry in the late game. Caitlyn showing up as well. So what KT is trying to do right now is create a lot of pressure in the bottom lane to draw pressure away from Someday. Of course, with that cooldown reduction onto Teleport, Jax, an up-and-coming pick, and will be even stronger in 4.5. Hovering over the Olaf right now. And actually, Rise may be taken for impact right here, so he may meet a top lane carry with a top lane carry.
There we go, he gets locked in. Of course, both will be very strong in the late game. Jax can be a bit more in your face early, but...
And Jax also a little bit more resistant to 2v1s. So
yes.
Probably KT going to be looking for a 2v1 now. And this is... You know, I do like the Rise pick in response to, because if you had a 2v2, Jax may be able to do...
Cacao just yawning.
He's bored already?
Yeah.
Well, Thresh coming out here as well for Mandu, so another champion that he's quite comfortable with. There's a lot of overlap in the mid lane. Of course, we didn't know that Rookie could play Lulu, but Nidalee, LeBlanc, these are all champions that Faker and Rookie both really like right now. Rookie leaning a little bit more heavily towards Gragas, and there is that Wukong jungle that I love so much.
Yeah, those pre-level 6 ganks, man. They're pretty strong. We'll see if Cacao can pull those off today. Of course, generally not advisable. But Cacao bringing out Wukong, and now what are we going to see for Faker here on T1K?
The thing about it is in a 2v1 where your jungler doesn't have to have a ganking presence, and he's going to just go ahead and be in the lane, and thereby it eliminates a lot of the potential for ganks. Wukong isn't bad because you can get to 6 just a little bit faster. Well, not faster, but the time where you would spend ganking is less, basically. So phrase it like that instead. Now Lucian taken, Lucian and Thresh for SKT. They've got just a strong duo, and Faker going back to a comfort pick in Orianna. Now, this is a combo that we've seen run by Samsung Blue with Rise and Orianna, of course, in the late game, with Shockwave bringing everybody in, and then a full rotation during Rise ult with that splash damage. That is a hell of a wombo combo, Chopra.
Yes, it is. Does a ton of damage. AoE, of course, Rise, commonly not thought of as an AoE champion, but with his ult on, you can make it work.
And especially with Shockwave.
Yeah.
That's a really good combination, but it does require kind of getting into that ultra late game. They've got a good balance of damage, too, coming out with Lee Sin and Lucian. So SKT, this looks like a lot better pick and ban phase than we've seen in Champions. They really faltered in picks and bans, not only against the KT Arrows, but also against Prime Optimus in a pretty questionable fashion. But of course, Koma's in the booth with them here, so they can't mess it up.
Exactly.
That's, as a coach, I will tell you, that's the most frustrating thing. When you're sitting there and your players are in pick and ban, and they go against what your plan was.
There are 5 people in the world right now
they make really, really bad decisions.
That are feeling really guilty.
No. CLG is normally very good about that. It's gotten a lot better. But sometimes, there's always those games where you're like, no.
to turn off your TV. You're like, I'm done. No, nothing more to watch here. Hachani got to pick up that Annie. You talked about it, Monty, how he has shown some weak moments as Annie, especially in his decision making, but we'll see how he plays it out today against T1.
Well, they have a strong lane, Annie and Caitlyn, of course. They will be set up to 2v2 or 1v1, but probably the Arrow is going to want to go for the 2v2 or the 2v1 here, and SKTK is going to want the 2v2. So, see how they get their way at level 1 right here.
Yeah, those level 1 early wards are going to matter a ton, and also maybe some intentional invades just to check out how lanes are distributed.
Well, I like this with the Nidalee, Caitlyn, Annie early because you're going to be able to apply a lot of siege pressure in the early mid-game while Someday farms up. And then once you get late, Wukong, as much as I hate him for his crap ganking, is a fantastic jungler to have in the late game once he gets a little bit tanky and he can provide that insane AoE CC.
We have so many cheerfuls here today about Kakao, God Cow, Ziggs Cow, you know, bringing the bombs here to Korean League of Legends, blowing everything up and making a mess of it, but can he do it again today? T1K versus Arrows for the KT Rolster as the first set in Masters between SKT, T1, and KT Rolster. How will they kick off? KT really needs an overall match win tonight out of the 3 sets, so can they go off on the good foot? We'll find out as we jump into set number 1 between the Arrows and T1K. SK Telecom T1 did get blue side for the first set, so we'll have K there, and then KT Rolster on the purple side with Arrows in this first set.
KT fans a little louder today.
Yeah, well, you know, as we don't have that many fans today because, again, exam season, everyone.
We only have the bad boys and girls, Jobra.
That's
the naughty
I guess
ones.
That's what it is.
It's okay. You're probably pretty naughty too if you're staying up to watch this late at night. So we always like Global Stream, the naughty boys and girls here who are up at 5 a.m. when you've got tests tomorrow, when you've got work tomorrow. We love you. Thanks, OGN Legion.
Yes. Sacrificing your own careers to watch League of Legends with us. No, but it's definitely good fun. I'm sure you've all figured out systems to make it work for you. And look at this, both teams being very careful. I think both expect the same thing from the other. And KT
this is going to get interesting. Annie going to be a little better here in terms of level 1. But if you look at SKTK, they're actually spread out so they could only hit a couple people with an Annie stun. So this is good. Rookies.
Man, it didn't hit, so they're just going to walk in as Bengi starts to fight with a Sonic Wave. Somebody will get the stun onto Bengi. Bengi staying a bit too far forward. They wanted to get damage onto Somebody, but he blocked a lot of it early with his counter strike. There's the Ignite onto Kakao. Kakao gets hit by the Lucian Q at the very end. And
wow,
Mandu
that was a great Q. So 1 for 1. And interestingly, jungler for jungler. Arrow, buddy, has to flash.
Too. So more summoners used, I believe, on the side of KT. No, it looks like it's equal. Piglet also had to flash forward for that kill. They lost 2 flashes on both sides, but Mandu also losing his Ignite. Hachani kept his.
But Impact isn't teleporting up. Someday immediately used his teleport to come up into the top lane. So it will be... well, it looks like 1v1 up there, actually, and they're going to go for the blue invade immediately in response so that they don't get 3-buffed by SKTK. Ward going in just to check on the status of that. Let's go ahead and watch the pathing of... oh, blue taken by Lucian, actually, so Lee Sin actually not going to end up with a buff. Interesting choice, Kakao. But this is actually very helpful for him. So it was a good call by Someday to go ahead, go back, and pick up the ward after he got some of that assist gold.
Ooh, dangerous by Kakao. Stayed a little bit too long, but he had to get that buff. So he secures double buffs for himself. Bengi with only that red.
Of course, not the end of the world on Lee Sin, but interesting play and counterplay early. While Someday going aggressive, he hit level 2 first due to the fact that Impact was helping get the blue buff in the bottom lane. So sacrificing some levels, but he's still... Someday taking a lot of that trade damage. Looks like Faker having some issues.
Yeah.
Mid lane so far.
Report team didn't give me first blood. Faker's like, we need a rematch. No, Faker seems to just have some tech issues. But thankfully, his lane was not affected by much early, so we'll just figure that out as we go. But as you were saying, Monty, we just saw Someday still taking a ton of damage. Of course, Rise does have that range advantage, and Counter-Strike won't block those overloads, so can't really do much about that.
Yeah, it is a little bit tough. So I'm a bit surprised that KT wanted this 1v1, although they do have the level edge right now. So this could be actually a very good strategy coming in from SKTK. If they know they're going to have the natural lane advantage, they may sacrifice some experience and levels just to give Lucian the blue buff and therefore get an advantage in more than one lane that they wouldn't normally have. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Right now, we see 0 CS for Arrow. He is hiding under turret from the blue buff Lucian.
Yeah, and earlier the fan signs, we had one that said, "Hey SKT, did you get the bomb I sent you?" And it was Ziggs there with Cacao name under him. But then the fan next to him, she had a cheerful that said, "KT, did you guys ever get to shoot a commercial? Didn't think so." T1K, of course, part of lots of commercials with their sponsors this year, thanks to their success in 2013. But we are back in game. Faker's got his gear figured out, so set to go. Cacao continuing just to secure his doubles, and someday we'll have to quiet down a little bit before he wants to duel again, if at all, before he goes back home.
Yeah, Rookie just playing a little bit cautiously so far this lane. Oh, he took some big hits though. He has to be super careful. He's actually in a really bad position. That Rise Q can do a couple hundred damage. He can actually die to a Q auto now.
Yeah, Someday does get flash and overload. There we go, he goes down. Yeah, Someday, as you were saying, scared of that. I don't think he took the flash into account.
Yeah, it was not a smart by Someday. Well, Impact, yeah, he'll get that experience back, and now you really got to look like the way that SKTK is coming out tonight. Fair to Spear to Faker right there, but it's like Arrow just going to farm up under the turret. He did get that gold from the First Blood, but not really able to transition that into any kind of lead quite yet.
Cacao's been hiding up in lane all this time. They want to get that counter kill against Impact. He is at full health, but he's low on mana.
He also has no flash, so this is the one time a Wukong gank might work because there's CC from Jax. It just depends on how willing he is to push up. Cacao playing a little bit risky right here. I don't think Impact's going to walk up there.
Ooh, Bengi's here though. They've realized that Cacao's been way too quiet.
You don't want to 2v2 a Rise Lee Sin at this point in the game with Jax Wukong. That's not going to go well
they're still going to go in. They do get the stun onto Impact. Impact's getting a lot of damage, but Cacao just gets melted by Bengi, and Someday goes down again. A double kill for Bengi. Bengi just returning the favor from their last match in Champions, it seems, trying to make Cacao irrelevant as he goes for a nice counter gank.
Yeah, the Wukong.
Now they didn't see Bengi, I believe, so they did get a little bit caught off guard, but Impact playing that very well.
It was a calculated risk. They had a ward next to the blue buff, right? But Cacao came through the river and not around through the blue buff. So, or Bengi came in rather through the river, not around by the blue buff. So they thought that was really the only way he could come in, and so they thought they took adequate precautions. But unfortunately, he ended up being there. But Bengi had a good read, of course, with Impact. Without a flash and Someday down, it was a natural place to gank, especially since it was really the only place Wukong could gank as well. So even if Wukong wasn't there, not too big of a deal. He could just wait for a second, see if that gank is coming in, and then respond. But very nice positioning, very nice timing by Bengi.
Yeah, the timing was impeccable there.
And that's the thing about top lane Rise, is that he's so weak in a 2v1, so easy to kill, so easy to gank. But as soon as the jungler comes and he gets a 2v2, it's just ridiculously hard. So his damage output just extreme, and now he's well ahead. Unfortunately for K, he didn't get either of those kills, so he's not going to be, I suppose, quite as ahead as he could be, but Someday very far behind, at least in terms of CS, and also now down 2 levels in the top lane.
Yeah, Someday just spent time to try to roam because he knew he couldn't do much in lane, but he was spotted. So.
This is fantastic from K2. Just look at this. They have wards in the side, in the lane brushes, wards in the river brushes. They just translated that.
Someday jumped forward just to try to get the stun and then run away, but Rune Prison wasn't used. Smart play by Impact as Cacao comes in. Someday still goes down.
Oh, did it bounce to the ward? I couldn't see it, actually.
Not sure. Cacao still takes a lot of damage.
No, it was the auto that was a little bit delayed right there.
The
and
missile,
then the E actually hit him and finished him off. But another
Mandu gets caught under tower. This is pretty dangerous as teleport coming in from Someday. They're trying to jump in, but Impact comes in with his teleport of his own and gets a kill. He does go down to Hachani. They're trying to chase through Fumandu really low. Hachani goes down to Bengi. Someday, can he get his counter-strike back up? It's still got 8 seconds on it. A nice safeguard by Bengi as he jumps away.
Yeah, but just letting Someday even back in this game right now is a little bit dangerous for SKTK. Yes, they have a large lead early on based on this very aggressive play from Bengi and Impact, but teleporting directly under a tower right that carries its fair share of risks. And Someday going to be able to level up here, hopefully for him get that level 6.
Mandu misses his death sentence. So the earlier teleport coming in from Impact, he will be able to help clean up that 1 kill. But Someday follows suit right away, gets the counter-strike onto Impact. They get that kill, and then Mandu will also go down to Someday.
Yeah, Rookie just barely missing the spear right here.
Ooh, yeah, it didn't hit. But yeah, that fan very, very happy about the play from Someday. Good reactions, and they will secure that dragon since Someday was already down here in bottom lane anyway. Shoved it up, waited for the bottom lane to join. Of course, Arrow is up at top to just farm up. Hachani the only one here.
Yeah, they realize that they have to do something about this Rise right now, and they're going to have to deny with the 2v1. But Impact is 3 levels up, and he's just running after Arrow.
Arrow has to run until his support gets here. And even then, this Rise could burst down Caitlyn pretty quick. Has that tier, has a catalyst. Yeah, Rookie now coming up also. They did get some pings down.
Rise has flash now, however, so he will be less vulnerable. He's probably going to have to use it right now,
looking for the stun. He does get the single target stun, and there's a spear coming in from Rookie. Rookie heals himself, tries to go forward. There's a speed buff on Rise's ultimate from Impact, and they will just give up. That catalyst doing a lot of work in terms of defensive stats for Impact's top Rise.
And look how much time they wasted.
Someday gets pulled back by the death sentence. He flashes out of the box and then leaves strike onto the minions, but they're not his, so he just has to run away, uses his ultimate to defend a little bit longer. Trying to run away. Can he at least get the execute? The time will have passed by the time he reaches the tower, but I think he just wants to look to escape. Does leap strike forward, still gets hit, and so he's now just drawing time of his own as Impact leashes around Arrow and Hachani, both top laners, just spending time as Bengi now comes on the hunt. Someday has taken enough time, so he's just going to go for the execute. Oh, he's actually still goes down that last W.
Really surprising, actually, that he didn't manage to get the execute right there. Tibbers dropped up in the top lane in order to deal with this. Cacao just wants to push down a tower, continue to take some form of objectives right here. Mid tower goes down. Faker's just been hammering away, and of course Orianna able to put a lot of turret damage down against Italy early just by repeatedly shoving minion waves into it, so he's been doing a good job. Also the roaming that we've seen from Rookie, of course the failed roam when Impact had flash up in the top lane, and Impact is just playing beautifully this game.
Yeah, Impact really bringing the team back in despite that first blood. Of course, played his lane very well, and that kind of snowballed into everything here. Rookie takes a lot of damage, has to watch out, but Someday shows himself on purpose to defend the tower with his teammate for a little bit. Bengi still looking for an opportunity. Bengi also 3-1-1, so he's doing quite well as he helps his mid laner out, and Impact just looks absolutely comfortable in this top lane all on his own. Look at that leisurely strut from Rise.
Yeah, interestingly, he's choosing right now to go ahead and continue to push the lane. So he moved the minion wave forward aggressively in spite of the fact that he doesn't have a flash right now. So just trying to keep as much pressure on as possible. Faker looking like he's just going to move back into mid lane and continue to push down that tier 2. Not a lot of forward wards for SKTK right now, so they do have to be a bit careful.
Ooh, KT arrows are in some trouble as Piglet shows up though, so will they actually just swap spots? Yeah, Piglet coming up just in time to pick the wave up as Impact looks to go home and probably finish his Rod of Ages.
That is a really early Rod if he gets it now, but if he will get it now, he's got the kills for it. Oh,
it seems like he's missing just a little bit, but
yeah, he doesn't have a lot of CS is the thing.
Right,
so.
He'll have
still 3-1-3. I'm quite surprised he wasn't able to finish the Rod right there, but they're just making a lane rotation. They want to continue to have Someday, and they're very worried about Rise getting all in again, especially while that flash continues to be down. And
Rookie gets shockwaved in mid as Faker puts down some damage on the auto attacks, flashes forward. Rookie also has to flash. He needs to leap through some brushes, but he doesn't want to get hit by the command attack. Good decision by Rookie to avoid that last
Faker
one.
trying to preempt that a little bit, thinking that Rookie would want to use his passive in the brush, but the mind games and the reverse mind games, Jobra.
Indeed, showing that both Rookie and Faker
Kakao
at the top of the game. He has his ultimate. We haven't really seen it used. He's looking for a 3v2 here. They do have a lot of kill potential with that Tibbers and the Cyclone, but Faker's showing up. That could change everything. Faker at level 10 right now.
He doesn't have his ult, though.
No shockwave, but still a ton of damage. Has that blue buff with the cooldowns, and are they just going to shove up the lane? And Hachani actually gets caught by the death sentence. They don't want to dive in just yet. Kakao forced to show himself in case they go for the dive. Still a lot of damage done to the tower. Arrow doing everything, and flash forward. There's Cyclone, and the teleport coming in from Someday. Someday looking to pick up some kills. Arrow gets the kill against Faker. Someday will get the stun onto Pumandu and Impact. Someday still at the forefront, just tanking some damage for a Rookie as we see Impact following suit with his own teleport. This is what happens when you have teleports for both top laners. Tibbers actually just faking Bengi out there.
By the way, this is exactly what 4.5 is going to look like, guys.
Yeah, teleports everywhere. Rookie trying to wait for the Resonating Strike, but not able to, and Bengi finishes it with his Dragon's Rage. So, T1K still getting the advantage there. Whoa, Achani brought Tibbers closer to you as a shuttle for Lee Sin, but he will survive. Teleports everywhere.
Teleports everywhere, indeed. Well, Someday going for the Blade of the Ruined King finished first. Sometimes we do see Jax's go for a Bilgewater and then build into some more tankiness. So his build still up there, but in spite of the 2-for-1, SKTK coming out on top in terms of the actual objectives. Kakao goes in, of course. There's the double stun from the Tibbers, and they're able to focus down Faker, who doesn't have, but Arrow gets grabbed by the death sentence. He does get out with a 90 caliber net, but Someday just has no backup right now.
Yeah.
They have Poke coming in. Rookie just trying to get away and throw some spears. Bengi going to take one, but it's not too much damage just yet.
Teammates had taken too much damage by the time Someday came through, so his Counter-Strike really couldn't be taken advantage of as, Impact shows up for a wraparound flank onto Arrow, but he decides to just back off, doesn't really see anyone else, doesn't want to get spotted.
He sees too many people at the red buff. But that's the thing is, look at the wards now. Impact just went a little run through the jungle, putting some wards down. That is insane vision control from SKTK.
Yeah.
And really, SK Telecom, this game is really about that kill that happened in the top lane. From Impact onto Someday, because
Impact gets caught by Tibbers. Hold that thought as Arrow puts down some damage, but he will flash away from the Piltover Peacemaker. Arrow gets a bit excited there to try to dive through. Rookie will come forward, so they'll definitely get the tier 1.
It's going to be the first tower of the game, desperately needed by the KT Arrows. They're in a large deficit right now. Someday is not going to be able to hold this at all. He's got damage, but he's just squishy.
Yep, he just uses his active on the Cutlass just to slow Piglet down a bit and chase him through, and Someday he's actually putting a ton of damage onto Piglet. Does not get the stun thanks to a nice play from Pumandu.
That was actually really well played out by Someday right there to save his tower.
Yeah, he does save it, so props to him.
But this game, SKTK looking like we're used to, where they take one mistake. So that death up in the top lane from Someday onto Impact. And then we look at how that changed the game. Because Bengi and Impact had a very good read on where Kakao was going to be ganking next, which means that one mistake, they read the minds of their opponent. They say, this is what you're most likely to do. They won the 2v2 for another 2 kills after that. And then this forces KT to start rotating in very weird ways. And so SKTK has been in control of this game, has turned that one kill where Someday got a little too close when he was very low and underestimated Rise's damage. And then the subsequent decisions have turned this into a large snowball in favor of K. And this is why they are the Season 3 World Champions right here.
Yeah, they punish you so hard more than anything. It's not about them making their biggest plays, but really taking that one thing and making you pay for it for the rest of that game as Someday almost gets caught here. Death Sentence does connect at the very edge. There's the Rune Prison over the wall. Bengi also safeguarding forward to pick up the last hit on the poor Jax. Now 1 and 6 with a couple assists. Someday really far behind now, and Mandu back in form for T1K.
And just look at this too. Faker, he really hasn't done a lot this game because he hasn't had to. He's relying on his superior wave clear right now, and the fact that Rookie has had to move around the map in order to try and get kills and stop pressure from the other lanes. And so...
Rookie, the one getting caught by that. That sent his Rune Prison over the wall. Lots of damage with the Spell Flux plus culling to finish and snipe that kill. Someday now here, but he doesn't really have much support from his team. He gets the Counter-Strike, but flashes right into the box, and there's a Rune Prison again. Achani also flashing too far forward for the stun, and Cyclone a tad too late, as Arrow, left all alone under his tower, has to run home to the fountain, while T1K beats down on the inhibitor. Nice block by Bengi just in case, although Pumandu has a little bit of defense of his own.
I really think that KT should have tried harder for a 2v1 this game. I think that was the big mistake right here, starting off with that. And as I was saying, Faker has done a beautiful job this game because he knows that Rookie has to roam around. And so what he does is he just uses his wave clear. He's just playing a role this game. He's a wave clear bot in mid lane where he just stands there, clears the wave. Whenever Rookie leaves the lane, puts pressure down. He's gotten a tier 1 turret in the mid lane and put a lot of damage onto that tier 2. And it's just one more thing for the KT Arrows to deal with.
Nice grab by Mandu. Just brings them in closer to the wall so that you can get the Rune Prison and a good culling.
That was a blind culling, by the way.
Yeah, and he just followed through. Just used it. He's like, well, I assume he will be running right. And of course, Someday now jumps in. And KT at this point kind of just filing in one by one into their deaths.
Yeah, Faker right there just to help with the cleanup, but Impact doing most of the work. Another double kill, 5-1 and 7 for Impact at 18 minutes. This is a nightmare scenario to have your enemy rise in. As we can see, he's got his rod, he's got his shroud as well, and he's stacking up that tier. I mean, there is no coming back from a rise in this position.
That's what the Arrows get for bringing back Nocturne, man. Nightmares in their next game.
Well, I think the Arrows just didn't play this out as well as they could have, and they didn't distribute their lanes properly in the early game.
Someday got a little bit ballsy in that top lane. And
yeah, I think that he thought because he was going to have that XP advantage on Jax, that's why they ultimately decided to send him top lane with that teleport, but then he horribly misplayed it. And the advantage that they already had an advantage in the mid lane due to the matchup and the early wave clear of Orianna. And then they gave that blue buff over to Piglet in the early game, so they had an advantage there as well. So they had 3 lanes, they snowballed properly. Really nicely played out by SKTK. They're looking sharp.
Ooh, Achani gets caught again. There's the Cullen coming in. He hears it hitting. And will not be able to get the kill, but Mandu doing such a fantastic job setting up fights with that death sentence until he hit that minion that one time. Spears coming in, and they will just continue to pressure as Someday really can't push this that fast thanks to super minions. He's just keeping it at bay. Has to join his teammates up at top if they want to defend their top inhibitor and not lose 2 in this set 1 between SKT, T1, and KT Rolster. Rookie can't stand too close to the wall there, buddy. Death sentence is blocked by KT Arrow. Impact takes a spear to the face. It does some decent damage. Not much magic resist on that rise just yet. Another nice spear onto Faker, and this is what the Arrows need. Just more spears to keep T1K back. Mandu also taking one.
Yeah, but look at Impact. He's got so much damage that his Vamp easily heals up those spear hits, but they're not going to press it any harder. They have that one inhibitor. They have the inhibitor furthest away from Baron. They can do Baron very quickly right now. So, no reason to keep up the pressure when you've got the minion wave doing work for you. Already push back up to the base. So, should be a pretty easy Baron. Good ward control from SKTK. No wards in the pit or anywhere close to it for the KT Arrows.
Yeah, and Someday just busy trying to farm up while blocking the super minion wave, so it will be a Baron for T1K. I think the Arrows are just uninterested right now, because what are you going to do against this? Nothing. So a quiet Baron for T1K as Piglet just keeps himself seen in that mid lane and decides to go home to take advantage of the gold that's going to come in. This is a Baron kill, but they decide maybe they also want to get that Dragon while they're all out here. And so, really, this Jax pick coming
It's
back
a really
to
nice lantern from Mandu just to check that brush and see if there was any kind of pick coming in. unlikely, and of course they had a pink ward a little bit further up there, but there was a path where somebody could have come around, ran parallel to the river and gotten into that brush without the pink ward seeing in the jungle right there. So that's the level of caution we're dealing with K right here, is they are really trying to win this game.
Well, they need it. They really need a win for a confidence boost.
Oh my, Frozen Heart done. On to Rise.
This Rise is scary. Look at that speed,
and of course, Someday doing mostly physical damage with that Blade of the Ruined King.
Oh, what? What is
the
this?
The Manor Sword. The Manor Sword of the Occult from Piglet. Oh my.
Oh my goodness. I'd almost forgotten this item existed. Sword of the Occult. We have a Sword of the Occult here.
It's a Manor Sword.
You know, it really is. But he's decided he's just going to pick it up. Of course, a nice item for someone like Lucian, who does a nice mix of burst damage.
Don't justify the Manor Sword.
No, you know what? It's a nice item, okay? Maybe he only had that much gold. We're going to go into an interview if they win the match today. He's going to say the same thing Faker did when he bought his first Magias. I just had enough gold. Couldn't really finish my Minis edge.
Yeah, I just had 1,200 gold. Yeah, whatever.
You know, you got to buy what you can. Hachani not going to get caught by that death sentence.
I don't even know how much a Sword of the Occult costs.
I don't either, because I don't even look at that item when I play. No one buys it in professional games. I'll just submit it on air. This item was forgotten by me, but it's back. So I guess it's time to study up on my Sword of the Occult stats as we see Bengi jumping forward. And look at that, Someday just cannot deal with this Rise right now. He's caught up in levels, but the item difference so massive.
Yeah, SKTK really just crushing the KT Arrows right here.
Yeah, T1K proving that they might be back in form, and this is what a lot of other teams worried about. If they got revived in Champions, would they return with vengeance? Looks like they did. Kakao was really just playing with fire when he tried to send them down and team kill Turmoil.
It's okay, they're not on his side of the bracket.
That is true, so he can still enjoy the comedy as Impact does get comedy, flashes out, doesn't get stunned by the Counter-Strike, and that's just going to be the end of the game as this Rise will just heal back up thanks to his Spell Vamp. Double kill, Piglet getting those stacks on his Sword of the Occult. He's doing what he can, setting some records here in Masters 2014. Wobit, yeah, has to use his flash. He's really BMing. I think he had enough. Oh! Rookie gets the revenge. Rookie had absolutely enough of Piglet's shenanigans this game, teaching him a little lesson there. Wow. That could not have been any better as Faker now getting chased around by Hachani and Rookie, but they don't have the damage. Hachani almost going down, but Kakao just wants that one extra kill. Hachani will actually pick it up against Faker.
Yeah, it gets the Ignite on Faker right at the end there, but still going to be lights out, but that was hilarious.
He was taunting them so much. That was actually the most BM I've seen in a long time in League of Legends, and he paid for it instantly. Instant karma. Well, he's still holding on to that Sword of the Occult. He still does have stacks on it, of course, because he got 4, and he only lost 1 there, so he'll be happy. I assume the gold efficiency level is similar, though, so it's not gold efficient yet. We'll just go with
I
that.
actually don't know what the gold efficiency point is. It is 5 stacks on Magi's. I do not know what it is on Sword of the Occult, because I never have to know that.
Uh-oh. Here comes Impact. Doesn't have his home guards, but it's okay. Kakao just gonna try to fake them out with his stopping. But
did he just kill him with 1 Q?
Yep, he just ran forward and Q'd him, I believe. He might have ruined Prison. It was so instant. I'm not even sure. He just evaporated there.
He's got that extra pen, too, due to the Haunting guys, so he's got a lot of pen between the Sork Boots and the guys, and especially, you know, there's just not very much MR coming out from KTA yet.
Manja takes the spear, so he'll have to trade off that tower tanking. Yeah, another spear could be dangerous for the Thresh, but he's still marching forward, trying to get those hooks, and he's been dodging spears quite well all game. Getting hit only by a couple. Piglet now has that elixir pop. He wants more kills. A nice long-range death sentence, but a good Timbers to react to that one. Pumandu will eventually go down. Shockwave does get dodged, and Hachani's still alive. Eventually goes down to the Sonic Wave. Rookie doing what he can to stay alive. Arrow is still alive, but there's 3 people with a triple kill for Piglet.
Got those sweet sword stacks.
It's definitely gold efficient now, I'll tell you that. 11 stacks. If that's not gold efficient, this item really is. Oh no! Piglet, buddy, you gotta work on your BMing. Gotta make it clean. But T1K with a good win over the Arrows, getting sweet revenge
Wow,
against the
26
team.
minutes.